This is the Xbox Ally. This is the Xbox Ally X's little brother. Let's look at it like that. The way I like to think of it is this is like a Series S versus the Series X. Even the color is the same. Inside here, we get the device itself, we get a charger, and then we also get this, which is just a cardboard standoff so that you can sit your device in, but you only get one of them. But I am kind of thankful that they gave you a little stand because obviously this thing has controller horns. It can't stand by itself. So it is quite nice that they let you prop it up with something inside the box. Now, what isn't in the box is a case. And that brings us nicely to today's sponsor. This video is sponsored by tomtoc, and this is the tomtoc G47 case, which they assured me would fit the R.O.G Xbox Ally perfectly. And well, let's take a look, shall we? This is the case. It is a rather large case, but that's great because not only can you fit the Xbox Ally or the Xbox Ally X inside here, you can also fit other stuff such as this Duchess remake. You can fit so much stuff in here, and it actually has a hard shell like piece, so it completely protects the thumbsticks. You've got a massive bit of protection behind the actual device itself. We've got this big old bit of foam just there, so it's protecting it well, whilst letting you put your charger in there, controllers, any other accessories as well, which is very, very cool. You get a big strap as well, so that you can have this as a shoulder carry, or you can actually just carry it from the back just there as well. But yeah, it's a really nice quality case just here. tomtoc make really good stuff. We've been big fans of theirs for a long, long time now because their stuff is just quality and it will protect your device. So for those of you that don't know the specifications of this device, let me run it through with you. This has an AMD APU and it is utilizing the Z2A. And as far as I'm aware, this is the only device that's actually utilizing the Z2A as of now, recording this video. So it's a 60 watt hour battery. It's got 16 gigabytes of 6400 mega transfer RAM. We've got a 512 gigabyte SSD, but it does actually support 2280. So if you want to crack it open, swap it out for a 1, a 2, a 4 terabyte drive, well, then you can do so. It's got two USB 3.2s on the top. It's got Wi-Fi 6E and the same 1080p screen as found in the R.O.G Ally, the R.O.G Ally X, and the R.O.G Xbox Ally X as well. All four of these devices have the same screen, and that is a 1080p 16:9 7-inch 500 nit IPS screen with 120 hertz VRR and low frame rate compensation. Now, I've already covered how Xbox full screen experience works, as well as the new Armoury crate in depth in my Xbox Ally X video that came out yesterday. So I highly recommend you go and watch that so I don't have to repeat myself for like 20 minutes in this video, but we'll still do a quick rundown, right? Here is what you'll see when you log in. It's got a fingerprint reader on the top and bam, I am straight in like that. It's going to take us to the Xbox app where we're on the home screen just here, but I can navigate around with the D-pad or the joystick just here. I can go down to the Game Pass section, which shows me everything new about Game Pass and all that good stuff. Or I've got the library section, so this shows me everything that's installed. It does have aggregated library now, so if I had stuff installed from, let's say, Steam or Epic Games or anything else, then it would show here as well, and that could be shown by my apps just there, so you've got them all here as well, which is very, very cool. If you want to quickly access your library, you've got a dedicated button. So you press that and it will take you straight to your library setting just there. And on the top left, you've got that Xbox button, which brings up the game bar so that you can launch games through here. You can launch other services just there, which is pretty cool. If I press the top leftmost button just up here, not the Xbox button, that's going to bring up Command Center, which lets me change the power of the device, the control mode. It lets me bring up FPS monitors and loads of other stuff. I go into detail about all this and how to customize it in my Xbox Ally X video. Go and check that one out. I just wanted to show you that you can enter this by pressing that button. Now, as I said in the other video, yes, you can access game bar here straight to command center with one button. But equally, I can press the Xbox button once and it also activates game bar. And you're probably thinking, well, why do we need 2 buttons to get to game bar? And there's actually a really good reason for that. And I'm so glad that whoever protested to make the cut actually got past that gate, right? Because I really like it. Because what this means is if you're in a game and you really quickly want to just access a setting to change the TDP or something, instead of having to go up to the game bar and then make another unnecessary movement across in whatever direction, I can just press the command center button and it will immediately load up, and I can then launch Armoury Crate there if I wanted to, which will then bring up the whole Armoury Crate app. Very rarely will you need to actually open up the dedicated Armoury Crate, but it is there if you want to see it. An Armoury Crate lets you calibrate your controls. It does so much stuff. There's updates here and loads of other stuff. Of course, if you want to see way more in-depth videos, make sure you subscribe. So now we're in the Armoury Crate section. Let's just press that library button again. Bam, straight back to the Xbox app, straight back to my games, which is awesome. And that will apply if you're playing a game as well. You can press that library button, you are straight back there. Now we are in full screen experience here, Xbox full screen experience. So I can either swipe up from the bottom, or I can press and hold the Xbox button and it will bring up this carousel of everything that's loaded up. And that's because Windows isn't really running behind with the desktop and all the other processes. This is a super streamlined version of Windows effectively that cuts the resources down and means that we get up to 2 GB of RAM saved. So this actually helps game performance as well as just easy navigation and all that good stuff just because of Xbox full screen experience. So it is still just Windows. So we can swipe up or again press and hold that Xbox button and just go to Windows desktop, right? And now I am straight up in Windows. If I minimize all this, look, I'm in Windows. So if you want to work on this or do other stuff, tinker, do mods, whatever, you can do so. And if I press the game bar button, I can do enter full screen experience. And then I get 2 options, right? The top one, which optimizes performance, or the bottom one that basically does nothing for performance because we've already loaded up all those background processes. So if you want to take advantage of better performance, you're going to have to restart the device back into Xbox full screen experience. So it might sound confusing to those new to this or new to PC gaming, but actually it's very, very easy. And there's not really much reason you would want to back out into Windows other than maybe downloading certain apps that you can't do from the Xbox full screen experience mode. And overall, I absolutely love Xbox full screen experience. It makes the usability of this so easy. It makes me forget that I'm on a PC. It lets me access my games straight away, very, very quickly and easy, whilst taking advantage of those performance benefits of that added RAM that we've just saved by not loading Windows in the background. But back to the ergonomics, this thing is so unbelievably ergonomic. These controller handles make the world of difference. They really, really do. Both the Xbox Ally here and the Xbox Ally X are the most comfortable handhelds I've used ever. Like, it literally just feels like you're holding a controller, and they have balanced the weight of this perfectly. This feels lighter than the R.O.G Ally X, but it's not. It's actually like heavier, but it feels so nice. Like, I really like the feel and the weight of both of these devices. It makes accessing this right stick for FPS games so perfectly accurate. Is just nothing beats it. It really doesn't. Now, I went into a lot of detail in the Xbox Ally X video, but I will repeat some of that stuff here for those of you that maybe are new to PC gaming and that have some concerns about, oh, well, it's not really a console, it's more of a PC. You know, I don't see the benefit of this or whatever. Let's just go through some of the things that are changing with the help of Microsoft with this kind of future direction. So Microsoft have been pushing for PC integration very, very hard recently because more and more games are going to become Xbox Play Anywhere titles. And what this means for you is that game saves and progressions, achievements basically marries up between Xbox and PC. So it doesn't really matter where you're playing, you continue where you left off. And this is huge because there's been a massive divide between Xbox consoles and PC gaming. And I've always hated that because I always see it as one in my head. It's Microsoft that own Xbox, right? I wanted it to be a unity, and it's slowly becoming that unity. And a device like this really utilizes that. So for Xbox Play Anywhere titles, you'll be able to continue where you left off on this handheld, as well as on your Xbox console. For games that are not Play Anywhere titles, you can then remote play your Xbox, so you can stream your Xbox games directly from your Xbox to this. If you're like, I don't know, chilling on the couch or something and someone else is playing or watching something on the TV, you could stream it to your actual Xbox Ally just here, which is really, really cool. If you don't want to stream it, or maybe you don't have the game or whatever directly on your Xbox and you can't access that for whatever reason, well, then there's cloud gaming as well. So you can actually stream it off of Microsoft servers instead. And of course, the fact that this is a PC, and now they're actually embracing Asus's play all of your games slogan with the integration of that aggregated library that I've already shown you, that will show you games from Epic Games, Steam, Blizzard, whatever it might be, right, into your actual Xbox library. I absolutely love this because it's still saying, hey, look, I'm still a PC, but we know you're going to be playing games from other storefronts. Just have them all here for ease, and that is a massive win. Now, another big thing is advanced shader delivery, because this means that shaders are compiled server-side, so that when you download the game, you don't have to wait for shaders to compile. You just launch the game and it works. But not all games support this yet, and currently it's just for games directly coming from, you know, the Xbox servers, right? So Steam games, for example, will still require shaders to be compiled when you launch the game. But as an example, when I booted up Gears of War Reloaded, which is a supported title, you just jump straight into the game as soon as you've downloaded it. You don't need to wait. Whereas on the other hand, Hogwarts Legacy have just came onto Xbox Play Anywhere. So I downloaded that to test that out, and I was sat there for ages waiting for shaders. So hopefully all titles will be able to utilize this advanced shader delivery system in the future, and hopefully places like Steam and stuff will start integrating it as well. Now, one thing that's going to really benefit you if you're looking at getting an Xbox Ally or an Xbox Ally X is the handheld compatibility program. So on a game, it will show you a couple of different things, right? If it says handheld optimized, that indicates that controller support, the text is clear, correct resolution. Basically, you can just boot straight into the game and it will just work. Whereas if it says mostly compatible, it does mean that you're going to have to tinker around a bit to get the best experience. And alongside of that is this, which is more important in my opinion, is the should play great means 60 FPS or more, and should play well is 30 FPS or more. And that is going to come really in handy for the lower powered little brother that we're looking at today, the Xbox Ally, because that's going to give you a good indication whether or not you'll actually be able to run these games. So I hope they manage to just whitelist everything and give it a compatible sort of like tag very soon, so that you know, as maybe a new user into PC games, whether or not this device is actually going to utilize it. I couldn't test this because I'm previewing these devices. It just didn't show for me. Now let's talk about stuff that's more important. Like, what's it like to game on it, Andy? Let's talk about that. So one thing I absolutely love about this is that they've kept that same screen. It's still a 1080p screen, but they've defaulted it to be 720 because you're going to need that resolution to be low because this is a more underpowered device in comparison to the Xbox Ally X, right? So it kind of knows it's at 720p out of the box, which I really like. It means that you're not going to confuse it and be trying to run games at 1080p and be like, why is it not running very well? You know, so I'm glad they kind of locked it down a bit to 720p. But the thing that's more important is the fact that it still has VRR. So variable refresh rate syncs up the frames coming from the GPU as they're being thrown to the screen, and syncs the screen's refresh with each inline coming frame, right? And that means that you do not get any screen tearing because they are married up. The GPU and the screen are married up, so they refresh and accept frames at the same time. No screen tearing. It makes for a super smooth experience. Doesn't matter whether or not your frame rate is fluctuating loads, right? It's going to feel smooth, providing that you're within the VRR range, but even underneath that, you've got low frame rate compensation. So basically, it's a very smooth experience no matter what you're playing, providing that you're getting acceptable frame rate. If you're playing at like 3 FPS, it's not going to feel very smooth. So playing games on this, 15 watt is like the performance mode, right? And that is where I tried to stay because I know that's what most people are going to be actually playing this device at, right? But it does max out at 20 watt, which will actually give you better performance. But of course, you've only got a 60 watt hour battery here, so you will drain that pretty quickly. You are also going to absolutely be relying on upscaling, frame generation, and setting every game to the lowest possible settings for the best results. And whilst I was coming into testing this thinking, I think the performance is gonna suck. I'm sorry, Asus and Microsoft, but that was my honest thoughts. I'm really quite surprised. I genuinely was like, is this running this game that well at this low of a power setting? Like, what? Like, a little bit confusing. Let me talk about that. So I loaded up Tony Hawk's 3 and 4 Remastered. I was playing it at 15 watts, and I was getting 60 to 80 FPS. Somewhere around that, which is absolutely ridiculous. I honestly thought I'm going to be locked at 30 FPS no matter what, on any game, even at 20 watts, and that just wasn't the case. Tony Hawk's ran and played absolutely amazing. Yes, I had it on like super low settings. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It looks and feels great. The frame rate was really good. And again, that quality of the screen still looked good. One quick tip I would say is any game that has like upscaling on it, if there's an upscaling sharpness, crank that. Crank that up. You know, like you're max outputting here at 720p and you're going to be actually upscaling from a much lower resolution. So what you want to do is crank that sharpness, and it kind of fools you into thinking that it's a higher resolution. If that doesn't support it, you can go into AMD's Adrenaline software and actually put on RIS, so the Radeon image sharpening tool, and you can force that on per game via that as well. If you're interested in all this, subscribe, because I'm sure I'll do guides on it anyway. So Tony Hawk's 60 to 80 FPS, way more playable than I ever imagined. I thought, okay, fine, I'm going to throw something really demanding at it, which was Hogwarts Legacy. Granted, I only played the first like 45 minutes because I hadn't played this and I had to play from the ground up, so I couldn't get into the open world stuff, but I did, do that whole 45-minute intro, and I was getting over 70 FPS, sometimes jumping up to 90 frames per second in the smaller areas. Bear in mind, I did have frame gen on, but it still felt and looked really good. Like 70 to 90 FPS on Hogwarts Legacy, like what? I imagine in the open world areas later in the game, it'll probably be more towards the like 50 mark, somewhere around that, but we'll have to wait and see until I play that far into the game, I guess. But I was still super surprised. I thought that intro would absolutely tank. I was expecting like 25 FPS, and it just wasn't the case. Like, it ran really, really well. Now, another game I really wanted to test, which I've spoken about already from the advanced shader compilation section, is Gears of War Reloaded. And I was still getting like 70 FPS on average on all low, and there's no frame gen in this game anyway. And it was super playable, absolutely fantastic experience. Like, I just completely forgot about the device I was playing on because I wasn't having any stuttering. It was super smooth. I was just enjoying the game, and those ergonomics really make you feel like you're just actually playing with a controller. And of course, I had to run Silksong. This game just absolutely smashed it out of the park. 120 FPS, no problem. Games like this are where this device is going to absolutely shine. And whilst I'm super impressed actually by how good the performance is out of the box on like really early drivers and everything, that's the thing. Like, it's just going to get better. I was expecting it to perform worse now than, in a few months' time, because the drivers, the APUs are not mature. Compare it to the Z1 class of APUs from AMD. They're like 2 years in, very mature drivers. We've seen really good upticks in performance on those just from driver updates alone. These devices are brand new, and they will see performance gains from driver updates, because AMD love to surprise us with driver updates that just increase performance, because that's just how they roll. It seems to be the case with all their GPUs and APUs, right? So we can expect performance to get even better, not by like a long shot, but a decent margin on these devices. I'm really impressed by this for the price point. I know there's other handhelds out there. If you want to know all our opinions on price, whether it's worth it and all that good stuff, then subscribe, because we will go into depth and do more deep dive discussions on all that good stuff. But as just focusing on this device alone, where I thought it might actually fall short on performance, I'm really pleasantly surprised. This is very playable, and really, if you're looking at having a companion to your Xbox, having a companion to your PC, maybe you've got very good internet and you're going to be streaming a lot of your games, then this is going to be the one to look at over the Xbox Ally X, because that one you're paying a lot more, but really that's for people that want to natively be playing on it. If you're just looking at this as like a companion, something to stream from or play the odd game or play indie games from or whatever, this is the one to probably take a look at and save some money. So there's my thoughts on the ROG Xbox Ally. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Whilst you're down there, like this video, subscribe, become a member, and you can chat to us over on our private Discord. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.